نبدأ أمسيتنا هذه بالحديث عن الإعلام والتغير الاجتماعي، الظاهرة التي أسعدت وأقلقت البشرية في آن واحد، لها آثارها الإيجابية وآثارها السلبية. صنعت ظاهرة التقارب بين البشر، وزادت من حدة العداء والتوتر. نرى هذه الظاهرة في وسائل الإعلام الكبيرة، ونراها في جهود وسائل الإعلام الصغيرة، ونراها في جهود الأفراد الذين أصبحوا يديرون مؤسسات إعلامية بدون مؤسسات. في هذا اليوم وفي هذه الأمسية يسعدني أن يشاركني زملائي في هذا المؤتمر، ويشاركنا اليوم الدكتور مارتن هادلو والسيد جيري تيمنز والسيد رزخان والسيد يوسف ديرفان والدكتور عادل الطويسي. فلنبدأ اليوم بالسيد جيري تيمنز.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to take you through a quick PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to tax the translator because I'm going to go fast. Okay? The BBC is fundamentally changing the way it engages with audiences, and technology is contributing enormously to this change. And essentially, we've moved from being a kind of king that creates content and hands it down and expects people to consume it, to the host of something much more like a court, where people come and engage in a two-way process, more like a conversation. It's a massive change. It's happening over time, and it's quite easy to miss the significance of it. On the screen, you'll see the latest audience figures for radio, television, and online for BBC outside the UK. So these are our international audiences. There's 230 million measured audience for radio, television, and online around the globe for BBC content. This is for news content. But those figures mask something that's, I think, far more important. The traffic to BBC WAP in the last 3 years has gone from 11 million to 28 million. People accessing sports news through our mobile internet has gone from 20 to 80 million page impressions over the same period. Streaming broadcast over the internet last year went up 25% on the BBC. So there's a real shift going on to delivery of news content via mobile platforms. And this is, as far as we're concerned, definitely the future. You'll, I hope, be familiar with some of our internet content, but basically the BBC broadcasts in 33 languages around the world. All of those languages have an internet presence, and 8 of them have a 24-hour news, constantly updated news presence. And as you'd expect from the BBC, we carry basic text news stories, we give you the facts, we report from all sides. And much of the content, the text content that goes onto these internet sites, are automated off onto mobile services of different descriptions. We use a range of techniques. We provide context and analysis, key facts. We do timelines, we do backgrounders, country profiles. Still pictures, obviously, are terribly important. Historically, they've driven a lot of traffic. But these days, embedded video and streamed video is increasingly important. But more important than any of that, we do what we call interactivity. So we set up issues and invite the public to comment on them. So they email their comments in, and we host those comments on the site. And the contributors themselves can rate other people's comments on the site. We don't do that, we ask them to. Now, audiences can get very frustrated if you don't talk to them. So in this process of them contributing, we feed back. So if you send an email to a BBC site, you get a reply. And we also tell them what is happening on the site. So if there's a delay in you seeing your comments come up, you can see how busy the site is. So that will help you gain some understanding, if there are delays, why that is. These debates that I describe don't just happen in English. On big issues, big subjects, we do them simultaneously in 8 different languages. 8 different languages. So you can enter the conversation in any one of a number of languages. You may be looking at our website in Hindi, but reading something that's been translated from Spanish. So it's a genuinely global conversation that crosses cultures. It brings you kind of new perspectives and puts you in touch with people you couldn't normally talk to. We use bloggers on the site. And we invite the bloggers to talk to each other as well. On this particular page, which I took from the last conflict between Lebanon and Israel, we had a blogger, a mother in Lebanon, blogging with a mother in Israel, exchanging views, talking about the conflict from their own perspective. You can generate a kind of conversation that you couldn't do in any other way. And we use this connectivity to bring people in who we wouldn't otherwise have been able to reach. So in Iraq, for instance, we were trying to assess were things getting better or worse over time. That's very difficult, even for quite a large number of journalists to do. But what we did was we contacted people across Iraq and asked them to tell us in their town, in their village, what did it look like from their perspective. So you get dentists, taxi drivers, jewelers, all talking to each other about the situation. And of course, we invite people to post video. This video was posted by somebody in the Palestinian territories about overcrowding in Nablus. Not something the BBC would have covered normally, but there's plenty of material like this on the web and on the BBC's sites. And of course, this poses particular issues, editorial issues for the BBC. Now, how does the BBC remain impartial, balanced,